This room is where many new things have started for me in my life. This is where I was working for the past few years as a student. It became the room I slept in, and I started the YouTube channel in this room. It's since evolved further to become the hub of where all my work outside my full-time job as a doctor happens. My name is Anass, I'm a full-time doctor in the UK, a YouTuber, and here's my studio, office and desk setup for 2021. Okay, so welcome back to the channel and the third installment or edition of this video. I've been making this video since 2019, and back then we started with this really affordable but functional desk setup, and that's when I started this channel. And then we moved on to 2020, and that was about really upscaling the tech of that desk to meet the demand of the work that I was doing. So we upgraded to an electric standing desk by Fully, we upgraded the Mac to a high-spec Mac, we upgraded the monitor to an ultra-wide display, and then a bunch of other peripherals and the stand and all of those things. But this year it's been about something different. It hasn't been just about the desk, but the rest of the room. Because YouTube has become a much more important part of the work that I do, it was time to look at the rest of the room and how to make it more comfortable, more aesthetic and more functional to meet the demand of the work of 2021. And also, just to mention, if you're interested in an item, then you'll find a link to it in the description below. So I'll leave those there. But finally, before we move on to the video, let me tell you about the sponsor of today's video, and it's Skillshare. And Skillshare is this amazing platform and community of creators who have really great skills and are able to teach it through classes on that platform. And you can find classes on there on a variety of different topics. It ranges from productivity to photography to graphic design and to what I'm particularly interested in, which is video editing. One particular class that I usually recommend about video editing goes over After Effects and how to use speed graph and speed ramping in order to add motion blur, in order to have objects moving around on a screen in terms of animation. So I've really enjoyed that class, and I'm sure if you enjoy video editing, you'll enjoy that class too. And if you want to get access to that class, then use the link in the description below. The first 1,000 people to click on that link will get a free trial of premium Skillshare. So use that link to access all Skillshare classes for that time. Now you enter the office through this main door. The first thing you see on your left is this grey 2-seat sofa. The material is super soft and feels somewhere in between suede and cotton. I think it's made of a combination of polyester and cotton, with the majority being cotton though. It's comfortable to sit on overall, especially if I'm just chilling, reading a book or working on my laptop. The main reason why I got the sofa for the office in the first place is because it worked well for when I'm having meetings, but it also works well for just as a chill place when having friends over. I can easily just sit on the desk chair while someone else is relaxing on the sofa, and we can discuss plans, whether it be for videos or other projects. I don't have any cushions for it, which is why I said this room is still in work in progress. Now the sofa works really well with the carpet I have just beneath. It's a 150 by 80 centimeter dark grey rug, which colour scheme wise is a perfect fit. It gives a nice continuous feel to the room and adds a sense of intentionality and aesthetic. I mean, like any rug really, it's nice on the feet, it's nice to step on and nice to walk on, but that's not what I got it for. The main reason why it's here is mainly for aesthetic purposes. I was planning to get a small coffee table to go on top of the carpet, but it really didn't make sense for a few reasons. One being that I have a massive light and softbox that needs to move around the room freely. With a coffee table right in the middle of the room, it would make it less functional, so I'm avoiding having anything here at the moment. As a substitute, we have the small bedside table, which I had from before this room was converted to become an office studio. It's got a minimal aesthetic made out of black metal rods shaped into a table. You can see through it. It's not bulky, and honestly, I still like the way it looks even though I've had it for a while. It has some wheels at the feet which make it easy for movement, and overall its aesthetic and colour fits really well with the rest of the room, as you'll see later in the video. On the bedside table I have a small lamp, and it puts out a really nice yellow light, great for video backgrounds, but also gives a sense of warmth to the room at night when working. Then we move on to storage, and first we have my wardrobe. Remember that this room used to be my bedroom, but now that it's an office, I still keep the majority of my clothes here. There's no specific sequence to how I organize things here, but overall just jackets and jumpers are hung up and the rest just folded at the top. Everything inside is well hidden by these built-in doors for the wardrobe. Here on the left we have storage for the rest of my miscellaneous items. This is not organized at all, and basically I just throw anything and everything in here that I don't use very often. I keep this closed the majority of the time to avoid being reminded of the mess that I've created in here. So far it's worked wonders because it's been messy like this for the last 6 months. Then we get on to the visible storage. On the right, as you come into the room, I've got this box shelf with 8 spaces to put things on. Again, it follows the same black, grey or white aesthetic that I'm going for with this room office. It's a cheap shelf. I think I got it for about £30. The quality isn't great either, but it does the job. It is what it is. When knocking on it, you can hear that it's quite hollow and basically made out of cardboard. On it, I've stored some books, and at the top we have the 100 subscriber plaque, which I got a while back. In the middle we have an old tripod. I'm still working on what to put on here, so if you have any suggestions, let me know. Then we get to the final and probably the most techie part of the office studio, the desk. You've seen the old desk setup video, so I don't need to go into too much detail here, but all in all we've got a standing desk that's comfortable to use while sitting and also at maximum height, and I'm about 191 to 192 centimeters. The finish of the desk is in black color. The desk is as amazing as ever, and I haven't found any fault with it after a whole year of use. When it comes to desk seating, not much has changed in this department. I have this main desk chair by Fully, and I have to say that I really like it 1 year in. The old chair I had before this used to give me some quite bad back pain, which I mentioned in an old video. I like the functionality of the armrest and the rest of the chair. I can easily adjust the seat so I'm laying further back, which is nice when watching movies. In addition, I have the stool, which I've talked about for the last 2 years, and I don't have much more to say about it, to be honest. 2 years in though, I would say that if I were to get something similar to this again, I would get something with a much more formed cushion that you sit on. Although it does encourage you to sit with a straight back, I don't feel like it helps you or makes it easier in doing so. One of the main changes to the desk setup is that I now have this filament lamp, which also gives off this warm yellow light, but it's in a slightly darker yellow than the other light I have on the bedside desk. Then in terms of peripherals, I've made one big change, which is the addition of the Apple Magic trackpad. The trackpad is really useful for editing and swiping within the timeline in Premiere Pro. Other than that, everything else is still the same. We have the same 34-inch 4K ultra-wide LG display, the same high-spec MacBook Pro on the stand, and I've got this world map in the background which still looks great. Now more than ever, I like to just sit down and look up and visualize all the places I want to travel to once all the borders open.